Hey guys, Sublord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the DC Multiverse Collector's Edition GameStop exclusive ? We'll give it an OJism. Anyways, but I do believe you could still purchase this on the GameStop website and or app, and not for nothing, it's been a hot minute since I've said GameStop exclusive on this channel. I think the last time I did was maybe the comedian from the Three Jokers. Dang, that was forever ago now. I think that was 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, it has been a hot minute since we have taken a look-see at something that was quote-unquote exclusive to GameStop. But before we beat around the bush, it could be nice to say what these things are. We have the Grim Knight versus Killer Croc 2-pack from the Dark Multiverse, as well as the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys. And some notes before we get too far ahead of ourselves here. This was a first to market at GameStop thing. I don't know if it's going to pop up at Target. It was allegedly supposed to show up there too, but I haven't seen it. It's not anywhere else to purchase online, so you're probably better off going on to GameStop, grabbing it there with something else to get free shipping, because screw paying shipping, especially with all these lovely tariffs we're going to wind up paying in the next month or so. Thanks, you stupid Oompa Loompa bitch. But either way, before we get too far ahead of ourselves with political commentary and piss off half my subscribers, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all the Grim Knight and Killer Croc have to offer in terms of accessories. We got a couple of collectible trading cards here. Some bios on the back. This Grim Knight one's actually really cool. Excuse me. Sorry, I got a croc in my throat. That said, the Grim Knight does come with a, I guess, submachine gun and a grenade launcher, right? And if we compare them to the guns from the previous Grim Knight, here is the submachine gun. Not too different. Maybe a slight color difference. And then we have the grenade launcher from that previous Grim Knight. The previous Grim Knight's guns might be better, but I'm going to tell you one thing. This new Grim Knight has way better paint apps. So why don't we move this big Mahunga out of the way for a second so we can talk about said Grim Knight, because he of course comes with the hockey puck display stand we're using with all McFarlane Toys releases. And actually, you get two of those in the box. You get one for Croc too, if you need it. But here is our new Grim Knight. A little bit lighter in color compared to the previous version, which I do have here. I did have his guns after all. And yeah, you could see that this new one has way more paint apps. And it's going to be the one I'm keeping. That's right, I'm actually going to probably trade and or sell maybe this older one for probably cost. I don't need to get scalper prices for this. But they both have the Batwing gun packs, which I always thought was kind of cool. I think this new one's a little bit better as far as the paint goes, but we'll see. That said, I might actually jack this old one's grenade launcher and submachine gun. I do like those weapons. But as far as articulation goes, his head will rotate and look up and down, and I will tell you, do a close-up of the head here, it is different. He's got some gritted teeth going on, whereas this one has more of a scowl. That said, they both don't have a forehead. It looks like he got hit in the frying pan a la old Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry cartoons. Don't know what's going on with that. Maybe pissed off Donald Duck or something. Whatever. Either way, his shoulders will go out to the side, back down, forward and back. Butterfly joint. While it is stiff, it does work. You get a little forward and back action out of that. He's got a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. His wrists are on ball hinges that will hinge, swivel, and twist. He's got a diaphragm joint. That's not the tightest thing on mine, but it ain't the loosest either. You can rotate that around. You can crunch forward and back a little bit. His waist is on a ball joint, but it's very hindered by all this stuff going on. I recommend using a little bit of heat with this guy just to get all this stuff moving. And this gun pack, I actually needed heat to put that in there. It's actually pretty in there for the most part. His hips, that hip only kicks out about that far because of this pistol. It kind of hits it. So you're kind of stuck with a couple of clicks out, but a couple is better than none. This hip, on the other hand, it was a little loose at a package, but maybe it snapped into place or something. Either way, it kicks out a little farther, but still not very far. And then forward and back is very limited as well. Maybe hitting stuff again. He does have double jointed knees. Pretty decent bend out of that. They're not the most egregious looking things. He does also have a thigh swivel. Surprising amount of thigh swivel for an older McFarlane figure. And then he does have ball hinge ankles, which will rotate, hinge, and pivot. As well as toe joints, not too loose on either side. Especially not that side. And peg holes at the bottom of the feet for the hockey puck display stand we looked at earlier. So that is the Grim Knight. He's cool. Wish he had a forehead. Maybe Donald Duck smacked him across the face for not being from Marvel. But either way, he's cool. I dig him. But he is just a reissue with a new head. Nothing too crazy. Even though he's got way better paint apps. Like all these belts and buckles and things appear to be painted this time around. His pants are a different color from his suit. He's got some nice silver on the gauntlets. Very, very well done. They did a very nice job painting this guy. I even think this gun pack on the back is painted better. So this will be the Grim Knight I am keeping. But why don't we look at Killer Croc, who has had a very pretentious history with McFarlane toys. Because the only other Killer Croc we got is this floppy mess here. This is the Arkham, I want to say City, because he doesn't really look like the Asylum one too much, but he does have the collar, so maybe it's Asylum. But this is the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham video game universe Killer Croc mega figure, which was a standalone. And you could probably still get him for like $20. He doesn't go for much nowadays. It's like this guy, the Clayface, the Man-Bat, all of those are not very expensive on the secondary market. Kind of crazy, but this one I kind of understand because the paint is garbage on this thing. But the sculpt was always there. There was a sculpt that was worth shit beneath minimal to very poorly done paint apps. Like, look at this guy. He's just not there, man. And he's kind of wobbly. You can see that. It's just, And this arm's kind of loose, and it's just not doing it for me. I will say this hand's better than the other one, but either way. Was not my ideal Killer Croc, but it's what we had. I got him in case we didn't get another one. Thankfully, we did. He's in this very 2-pack. And funny enough, there's a lot of new tooling on him. Like, this torso is brand new. You could see because of the back. If I bring in this other one, on top of the fact he doesn't have the collar, his back is more haunched. It's got the spikes sticking out. The forearms are different because he doesn't have the shackles on there. He's just got the bare arms. The lower legs are new because he's got the ripped pants instead of the heavy-duty, almost bell-bottom pants here. I almost think these shoulders might even be new. Are they? Could be, but maybe not. I can't tell exactly. I think they're reuse. I think. and so are the upper legs, maybe. The waist is obviously reused, and I believe the midsection is too, but very, very cool. Oh, and the head, of course, is new. Very animated series inspired, too, might I add, with the ears and the flat face and the kind of quirky look to the eyes. He's almost doing a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson people stare, but that is cool. I dig that, but as far as articulation on this guy goes, his head is on a double ball peg. It will rotate. It'll look up a little bit, down. I feel like it'll look up more than that. Yeah, it looks up pretty well. I kind of like having him haunched, though. I know some people don't like him super tall, so that kind of helps with that. The shoulders will go out to the side. Ooh, and pinch my freaking thumb, son of a bitch. They'll go out about that far, so perfect 90-degree angle with a rotation. Nice tight shoulder joints on this guy. He also has a single jointed elbow. That will bend almost 90. I'd probably get it past that, but that's as far as I can get it right now. It does also rotate here. That's also very stiff. Probably his stiffest joints on this guy are his elbows. And then he does have swivel hinge wrists. But this wrist on mine is super floppy loose, but it's just a hand, so it doesn't bother me that much. Finger might be a little warped too. Let me check this. Yeah, it looks like his finger might be a little... Is that a new hand? That almost looks like a new hand. That's interesting. That is super freaking warped. I might straighten that out later, but either way. Yeah, that's interesting. It almost looks like that's a completely new hand. I might as well just show you at this point. See? I mean, they're similar, but this one feels like the fingers are just more spread out, but I think this one might just be warped, so I'll have to hit that with a hairdryer afterwards. See if I can straighten that sucker out. That said, his torso, it still has the bobbles a little bit, at least on mine. You can rotate it, and that's fine. And you can crunch it back a little bit, forward a little bit, tilt side to side a little bit, but it does have the weeble wobbles going on. Just a little bit. You can kind of adjust it, kind of, but it does have the weeble wobbles. That said, what doesn't have the weeble wobbles as much is his waist. That's a nice tight poppy detent joint that can crunch forward and back as well. His underwear wants to fall down. He's got T-jointed hips that work okay. Kick back down, forward and back. He's got a thigh swivel right there. He does have double jointed knees, and these are pretty solid too. A little chunky, but solid. And then as far as his feet go, he's got a hinge. Not the tightest hinge, but not the loosest thing either. He's got a rocker, but the rocker's pretty stiff, so be mindful of that. And he's got a toe joint, which of course is floppy on one side on mine. Like, this is pretty not tight, so I might actually just Kiki's or super glue that, so it's a little less loose. But at any rate, this killer Croc is freaking awesome, despite its shortcomings, particularly with the torso being a little loose, the ankles being a little loose. He can stand just fine. You just gotta fidget with him a little bit. At least mine. Maybe some people aren't like that, but he is pretty solid. Compared to the previous one, he is much more solid looking and feeling. Like, very, very well done. He will look great next to Bane and the other Batman rogues. That's where I plan to put mine. I imagine that's where a lot of people plan to put theirs, but mine in particular, because this is my video, we're going to be doing that. So, getting him standing here. He wants to lean forward a bit. We can't be having that. There we go. I'd probably recommend you stand him kind of haunched anyways. I think he's kind of built for that. But there is Croc. Right there. Bring the Grim Knight back in. And then before we wrap this sucker up, our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith. There. And the infamous current 11th spawn, who's not towering over everyone today, because while he may be a little bigger than Grim Knight, he's definitely not going to be towering over the likes of Killer Croc, who is a mega fig after all, so that makes sense. So, with that being said, it's time now that we move right along and wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and I think it's safe to say that the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys were definitely a cookin' when they conceived this Tupac. And what does that mean, you might ask? I don't know. All I know is that I cooked some grilled cheese sandwiches and hot dogs this past week and nobody gave a shit. I mean, I did, but that's because they were unequivocally fucking bussin'. That's right, I said what I said, and if you don't like it, you can kiss my ass. Bing bong, fuck your life, oopsie poopins, and the whole 9 yards. That said, at the end of the day, this is a very fine 2-pack, especially if you don't have either of these figures from the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys. I would argue that these reissues, quote unquote, are much better than their previously released counterparts. And for the price, considering what the Grim Knight goes for anyways, again, you could probably pick up that Arkham Croc for 20 bucks, but we'll put that aside for now. I would say that the price is more than worth it. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, catch you guys later.